This is another Total War Warhammer battle. This one is between me playing as the Vampire Count and Joe playing as the Empire. It's set to large funds on the map Southern Chaos Wastes again, as it is one of the flattest maps in the game. And we keep picking the same map for this flatness because we feel that it makes it a more fair fight, and it enables the use of artillery where they would usually be completely obsolete. So you can see from the outset that I decided to bring a rather unusual army, absolutely spamming zombies, and this is because I'm aware of the Empire's tendency to snipe generals using Balthazar and the Light Wizard combo. So I decided to bring lots of my own heroes, and these vampires each have Spirit Leech, which means that they can both harm the Light Wizard and Balthazar. So my aim here, using the terror effect of the Terrorgeists and the Fellbats for rear charges, is to make the enemy army rout as quickly as possible. And you can see here the battle only lasts for 4 minutes. So immediately the Hellstorm rocket batteries, which are a good choice usually against zombies, but you can see by spreading the line really thin, I'm going to limit the cost effectiveness of artillery on them, as they didn't even kill one zombie in that first volley. So as soon as the battle's starting, I'm going to move up my Terrorgeists and my Lords. Now, I also decided to bring a White King because he is about, I think he's like 200 funds cheaper than a Black Knight unit, and he can often be as effective if not more effective, while also having abilities that can buff himself and troops around him. Now, because the Empire often bring AoE artillery like Hellstorm rocket batteries, instead of crossbows and handguns when they know they're going to face zombies when you play as Vampire Counts, you can usually bring your Lord and Legendary Lord up to their army without too much fear of getting them sniped. So you can see in this case he does bring a lot of crossbows and arguably not enough infantry, because, well, he's outnumbered about 1.5 to 1. So by having all these flying vampires on the Hellsteeds, they can be pretty much a direct counter to the Light Wizard, as they both have Spirit Leech, which is the biggest direct damage spell in the game, despite its short range, and they also have exactly the same speed as the Light Wizard on the Imperial Pegasus when they're mounted on the Hellsteeds. Now Manfred here is going to crumble away, which is a shame, but by bringing the additional Lords and the White King, who I immediately charge into the front line of crossbows, it enables the zombies to not crumble instantly. Now, one disadvantage of bringing Manfred is of course the slow speed of his zombie dragon compared to the Imperial Pegasus. I think he also loses in direct combat against Karl Franz on his mount. So Manfred isn't always the most effective Lord, but the only reason I bring him is because the other Lords for the Vampire Counts are either really ineffective or have very low armour, which leaves them very vulnerable to spells like Shem's Burning Gaze, which is a Light Wizard general sniping spell. And you can see here that he brought in Balthazar for melee combat, but this is not going to be very effective as Balthazar is definitely not a melee expert. Now, by spreading the army across the entire map, as cheesy as it may be, it enables me to A, limit the cost effectiveness of missile troops against them, and B, to quickly overwhelm the flanks of the enemy army. Now, I'm using it here against the Empire, but this is also highly effective when used against armies such as the Dwarves, which tend to form into a tight, defensive, compact formation. So the combination here of Terrorgeist rear charges on the main line, they instantly rout these swordsmen who haven't even lost one man. So they've got one kill for 400 talents, which is 0 cost effectiveness. It's the combination of the Terrorgeists doing a rear charge and inflicting, you can see here. Ooh. No, okay, I'll go into that on Custom Battle Creator. So you can see the zombies don't really have to do any killing, because the Terrorgeist's terror effect just routs the entire enemy army, almost straight off the bat, within the first 4 minutes of the battle. And Balthazar Gout and the Light Wizard here just suffered at the hands of repeated spirit leeches via the vampires. The White King didn't do much, but he did break up the front line for the zombies to get a decent charge into the enemies. The Fellbats acted as good screening to limit the effectiveness of the Hellstorm rocket battery, and these mortars, although it seems like they're getting a decent amount of kills along with this Spearman unit, it is only zombies. And it's important to note that those zombies have a lot of men in each unit. So if I go along here to Custom Battle and select the vampire counts, yeah, the zombies have 120 men in each unit, whereas a unit such as Spearmen only have 90 men. This also allows the zombies to wrap around the flanks of each unit, which should allow them to inflict a attack in the rear penalty. And here the Terrorgeists, though they're expensive, and they can be quite vulnerable to final transmutation at the hands of Balthazar Gout, or Spirit Leech at the hands of Azag the Slaughterer for greenskins, or the vampires. Here you can see that they do cause fear and terror, which means that cheaper units, which don't have any resistance to these effects, will get completely destroyed in terms of their leadership, which should rout them before they have any attempt at fighting back. So you can see with more expensive units, as some of the factions here, maybe not with the Empire, the Dwarfs. Yeah, the Longbeards here are immune to psychology, which is fear and terror. So you don't want to use them against things like Longbeards, but some units will only have resistance to fear, so terror, which is caused by the Terrorgeists, will still affect them and can rout some of the most expensive units in the game to limit their cost effectiveness. Anyway, that's about it for this battle, so I'll see you again in the next one.